All right, let's dive into the story of a nation that's absolutely bursting with passion, culture, and some seriously stunning landscapes. Today, we're unpacking the epic origin story of Argentina and figuring out how this incredible country came to be.
So many stories start with a name, and Argentina is no different. The name itself kind of whispers of treasure, right? Silver mountains, incredible riches. But the real story here, the real treasure, isn't some shiny metal. It's the people, the incredibly resilient and diverse people who really shaped this nation's destiny.
So, to really understand how Argentina was born, we have to rewind the clock. I mean way back. Back to a time long before the name Argentina even existed, to the land itself and the communities who had called it home for thousands of years.
And this is absolutely crucial to get. This land was far from empty. It was a living, breathing tapestry of cultures. You had the Guarani along the coast, the Mapuche and Tehuelche down south. These were complex, thriving communities. They had their own customs, their own languages, and a deep connection to the land that, as we're going to see, still echoes in Argentine culture today.
But then, in the 16th century, the story of this land takes a huge, dramatic turn. An empire from clear across the Atlantic shows up, and they're drawn here by rumors of riches and the promise of a whole new world.
Now, the Spanish conquest, it wasn't some quick, easy thing. Not at all. It was a long, tough process. They first show up in 1516 at the River of Silver, the Rio de la Plata. But their first attempt to build a city, Buenos Aires, was a total failure, which really shows you how fiercely the indigenous people resisted. It took them another 44 years to finally establish the city for good, and eventually it became the capital of this huge administrative hub called the Viceroyalty, which was basically Spain's way of controlling the region and all the trade going through that port.
And this brings us right back to that name, Argentina. It tells you everything you need to know about why they were there. It comes straight from argentum, the Latin word for silver. It's all tied to this European legend of a mythical silver mountain, this dream of unbelievable wealth that was really the engine behind the whole colonial mission.
But, living under a distant empire, well, that starts to create some serious friction. A new kind of identity was starting to bubble up, one that wasn't exactly Spanish anymore, but American. And right alongside that identity came this powerful, growing desire for freedom.
So, the main conflict really boiled down to two groups. On one side, you had the peninsulars. These were the elites born in Spain and sent over to rule. And on the other, the Creoles, people of Spanish blood but born in the Americas. And here's the real kicker. The Creoles owned the land, they were the ones generating the wealth, but the peninsulars held all the power, all the top jobs, making sure the money flowed back to Spain. You can imagine how that would build up resentment. It was a powder keg just waiting for a spark.
And that spark finally came in 1810. You've got these new, revolutionary ideas about liberty floating around. And at the exact same time, Spain is in big trouble back home, weakened by Napoleon. So the Creoles in Buenos Aires see their chance and they take it. They launch the May Revolution, kick out the Spanish viceroy, and set up their own government. This was it. This was the first real decisive step towards becoming their own nation.
Then, after years of fighting and struggle, the moment finally became official. On July 9, 1816, leaders from all over the provinces gathered together and formally, officially, declared their independence from Spain. Just like that, the United Provinces of the Rio de la Plata was born. A new nation had arrived on the world stage.
But here's the thing. Winning a war for independence is one thing. Figuring out who you are as a nation, that's a whole other challenge. This next chapter in the story was all about forging a unique identity from all these different pieces of history. This was the big question they were all facing. Okay, we're independent, but what does it actually mean to be Argentine? And the answer wasn't going to be found in some political document. It was going to emerge from the culture of the people themselves.
And wow, what an incredible mix it turned out to be. You've got the tradition of sharing mate, which isn't just a drink. It's a social ritual of community that comes straight from the indigenous people. You've got tango, born in the melting pot of Buenos Aires, capturing all the passion and struggle of a new society. Then you throw in the massive influence of Italian and Spanish immigrants who came over in waves, plus the iconic figure of the gaucho, the cowboy of the plains. All of these things swirled together to create something totally new and uniquely Argentine.
So in the end, Argentina is just so much more than a name on a map. It's a nation that was truly forged in the resistance of its first peoples, the ambition of explorers, the fire of a revolution, and this amazing blend of cultures that created a powerful, one-of-a-kind identity.
And that really leaves us with a fascinating question to think about, doesn't it? When you look at any country's story, what really defines it? Is it the big battles and the famous dates? Or is it the everyday rituals, the music, the food, and the shared culture that truly makes it unique? It's something to ponder. Thanks so much for joining us on this journey through the birth of Argentina.